Well, good morning, Refinery Church. Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. Even though it's a little cold out, I was not happy when I looked outside and went from spring to back to December this morning, but that's okay. It's Edmonton, right? Today, I'm going to be reading a little bit from First Peter, but before I read a section from First Peter, I just want to talk a little bit about where I've seen God in the last few weeks and how this relates to the passage I'll read. So back in September, I went back to school. And kind of going back into school, kind of forgot what it was like to, I don't know, be a part of the world. Not like I'm going and doing all sorts of sinful things, for sure. Not doing that. But just being kind of back in the world. I had just worked a job where my boss was Christian, and I'm in Christian community, and came out of Bible college, just very kind of immersed in Christian community and culture, which is good, but I think kind of got my blinders on a little bit and forgot what everything else is like other than when I open up my phone and look at the news, right? And I kind of thought, well, it's a little easier to live this life if we aren't kind of wrestling with the world a bit, right? It's kind of a little easy just to put our blinders on, do the regular things once in a while, and a little easier to be holy when we're not challenged in some ways or inspired because we see the way the world's going, right? And in reality, this call becomes bigger because we're interacting with such a broken world, right? And I mean, obviously, we have to be holy because, one, how are you supposed to bring others to Jesus? And then two, we're also just not supposed to conform to the pattern of this world. And I go to school, and this semester feels great. This last semester was pretty good, and I'm like, oh, everything feels nice. And then this semester comes along, and I don't know if it's just the weather or the fact that it's not fall anymore and all of that, but I kind of walk into school this semester, and I'm like, oh, a little beaten down. I'm feeling just feels heavy, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. And as I'm thinking about it a little bit here and there, I'm like, oh, I'm missing my favorite professor and a friend I made this last semester. And lo and behold, I found out that they were Christian. My calculus professor has a bumper sticker that says, save some gas and walk a mile with Jesus, which is pretty great. And then I found out that there's a guy in my calculus class who had gone to Bible camp growing up, and believe it or not, is also a fan of the Houston Texans. So I'm keeping this guy around. But it kind of just opened my eyes a little bit to what it looks like when we do see people living out holy lives in a broken world. And while this semester is different, and I don't have that same professor or my buddy Jacob, still, it's so important to be able to see that. And as I was reading 1 Peter earlier this week for Bible study and just ruminating on the section that says, be holy, I found this section here that just points back to what Jesus is all about, what we should be all about, and how to remember how we should be living our lives. So I'll just read it here. It's 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 18 to 21. And it says, for you know that it was not with perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life, handed down to you from your ancestors, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect. He was chosen before the creation of the world, but was revealed in these last times for your sake. Through him you believe in God, who raised him from the dead and glorified him, so your faith and hope are in God. And I was kind of just thinking, that's kind of what it's all about. That's really pretty great. And I love the way it's just written where it's oh, well, yeah, the blood of Christ. What is communion about? What did Jesus actually do on the cross? And we would take a second to really sit with that and wrestle with that. It's not of this world. And when we're called to live holy, we have to live in this faith and hope that we do have in God. And yeah, I'm going to pray. And after that, we will take the communion elements in our own time. And then the music will change when our time is up. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for this day. Thank you for this wonderful church community, and thank you that you went on the cross and died for us. Thank you that we can just come to you with anything, that you're continuing to just lift us up in so many ways, and that you, once again, just died on the cross for us and set us free of everything. Pray as we just go about the rest of this time together and this day, that you would just watch over each and every one of us and bless this week ahead of us. In your name, amen.